Hey folks, Steve here. I've got an oddball video for you this morning, just spurred on by an interesting comment, a good question that was left on my postmortem video for Korea Fire and Ice, where John had asked me a question of, hey, the Korean War reprint, it's a highly enjoyable, well regarded uh, game on the subject. I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not looking at the comment right this second as I record this on my phone. Why spend time on Korea Fire and Ice is basically what he was saying, right? Um, and I think I don't know. I think in that video and other videos, I've I've probably implied why. Um, but it made for an interesting topic just to talk about, not just within the context of Korean war games, but really any war games, for any topic that exists. Um, and I had thought about doing a video like this a while ago, and so this is going to be an abbreviated version of that much longer video I thought about doing. Um, where there's a question around: is there a final word on a subject? Is there, the game that is the final word? And once that game has come out, everyone should just stop designing games for that conflict. Boom, we've hit nirvana. It is as good as it's ever going to get. I don't think I have a real answer to that question, but maybe it's all coming down to subjectivity, right? If you find the game that is the game for you for a topic, then maybe you're done, and you don't necessarily need to play another game. Right? The first thing that comes to mind is, the Deadly Woods has come out, right? And that's a game covering the Battle of the Bulge. It is designed by Ted Racer. It uses his chit pool mechanics from the other series, or the other games in the series of the Dark series, Dark Valley, Dark Sands, so on. So you say, well, there are other Battle of the Bulge games across decades of designs. Well, why play the Deadly Woods? Why spend time on the Deadly Woods when, gosh, there's all these other Bulge games to play? Um, Obviously, every game brings with it pros, cons, unique aspects. Maybe they're not all unique. Maybe there are duds when it comes to a game covering a topic compared to its peers. And that's always possible. Um, but, when I guess I look at my game collection, I go, well, I do have some double ups, right? I've got games, I have multiple games on certain subjects, multiple games on certain subjects. And even just within a particular game type, I might have some double ups. Um, how many games on the Vietnam War do I own? Well, at the strategic level, I might add. Well, I have Fire in the Lake. I have Hearts and Minds. I've not played Hearts and Minds yet. That's on the to do list. Um, I'm going to be getting the Vietnam reprint from GMT. So, how do you know when you found the right one, or do you ever need to stop? I have For the People, I have U.S. Civil War, and I like them for different reasons, and I think there's value in having both. Um, so I think, any time that I'm playing a game, whether I'm recording it on camera or not, I guess that's the other thing, right? I've played games that you guys have not seen me play because I don't record everything. And I played a whole lot of stuff before I ever started recording videos. Many of the games on my shelf, actually, you may never see on the channel because I've already played them quite a bit. I like them, and it just depends on, the next time I get around to playing them. So, I really like Here I Stand. I really like For the People. I really like U.S. Civil War. Um, I really like. Uh, let's see, what's one I haven't done yet. I've not done Hannibal. I like that. Um, which other ones? Yeah, there's plenty on here on my shelf here. You're seeing a little bit of my shelf. Obviously, there's stuff over here too. I've had bouts of playing Great Battles of History that I've not recorded, right? So certainly lots of stuff being played. Um, if somebody's watching my videos and wondering, well, why, I can understand why people are wondering, like, Steve, why are you playing Korea Fire and Ice again? And here it is. I have it set up again to start the full campaign, for the most part off camera, to play it through. And that, going back to John's question, why spend time on this when the Korean War reprint is available? Um, I think I am well situated right now to try to give Korea Fire and Ice its most coverage somebody could ask for, to see as much of the game as they can see it without buying it themselves, right? I got it for free. For me doing this, it's zero cost. It is just my time, and if I'm having fun, I'm having fun. So it's all gravy for me. I got it for free. Might as well play it, and I might as well play it through to the point where I'm satisfied that I've done as much as I could with the game within a couple of plays, of course, to have a very firm opinion of it. What are its strengths and its weaknesses, and what it has to offer. And there'll be the videos to come where we'll talk more in depth about that. But I just feel the need to take another swing at it. And it goes back to a comment I had on a previous video, way deep into the Korea Fire and Ice playthrough series, that if you haven't been watching that, you won't find this comment, so I'll repeat it here. It's like you want to give the new game on the block, and by new game I mean Korea Fire and Ice, right? The good opportunity to show itself, and not simply lean back on games that are considered classics, right? I mean, how many World War II games are there? Why buy another one? It's been done to death, right? But we know the reality is people will continue to buy new World War II games because they're just, they're interesting. Someone does something different. They like the design. Why design another tactical squad-based game when ASL's been around for a while? Well, there's answers to that. There's plenty of reasons to look at games beyond the classic and see if they manage to offer something different enough to be worthwhile for folks to purchase. So I think whenever I'm doing this, and I can't guarantee that it's always going to work out this way, that I could play both games, the classic and the new game, and say, well, here's what the situation is. May not be able to do that very often, but at least here it's very easy for me to do it. Korea Fire and Ice, got it for free. Purchased the Korean War reprint, got it now. But I had Korea Fire and Ice for a long time before giving it a try. It was just on my to-do list. I wanted to play it. I'd looked at it for a while. I'd read through the rules several times, and I just wanted to play it. I wanted to give it a shot and see what's what. And something else that I should mention, because I think it's very relevant to Korea Fire and Ice in terms of what will eventually come when I talk about the review and future videos covering this game as I do my second playthrough, mostly off camera. There's a point where we can look at a game and say, hey, this game's got a lot of problems or had a lot of problems. Well, if those problems are fixed, doesn't make it worth purchasing, right? You can play it once you reach a certain stability level with the game. What's funny as I look at it and say, well, there's some things about Korea Fire and Ice that might need a little bit of adjusting to work. If I go look at the Korean War reprint, it straight up says that they added somehow, they fixed some things in the old classic game. That was a fine simulation. They still had to fix things in the Korean War. They had to fix the UN reorg loophole where the UN player could keep reorganizing units without ending the turn or whatever it was, or without ending those units' activations, making them done for the turn. That was an exploit. That was a thing that you could do, and so that game, that classic game from the 80s, had this loophole that has existed until the reprint, where they changed the rule. And folks, if they were playing the game, were probably playing with a house rule to say, don't do that. Just as I might be looking at, a potential house rule for Korea Fire and Ice that I think ought to probably be made an official rule. And that's spoilers for any other videos you might be watching on my channel right now. But that's you know to me it's just that interesting comparison, and I find that it's very similar to Napoleonic games that I have, where I have several different ones, and I've played different ones, and it seems like no matter what I do, the rules for a strategic level Napoleonic Wars game always has some sort of hiccup, no matter what. The Napoleonic Wars CDG game is mostly okay, but sometimes the rules can be confusing. Nations in Arms has had challenges due to translation stuff, and even War and Peace, the latest editions of War and Peace, have had rules issues that have come up and are being corrected in the 6th edition print. So it seems like, I must continue to question myself as I purchase games that are for the same conflict, that seem to have the same sort of problems, and maybe it's just, the unsolvable problem. Games will have issues from time to time. Um, maybe because of the conflict, it's just hard to make a game work, or humans are humans, and making the perfect game is impossible. But I don't know. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't have. I realize this is like a 12-minute long video of me not really saying a whole lot other than trying to explore this idea, right? Why spend time on any game if there's already a game on the subject? Um, I think it depends on your view of the other games, right? If you think that that classic game is the best, undefeatable, no matter what comes out into the future, that can work for you. It just may mean that you're, not opening the door to trying out some new systems or new gameplay or new designs or whatever. Um, and on the other side of that coin is that, yeah, that have the ambition to look at, designing a game that is different than the others for a particular conflict, using different systems, using different things, but knowing that, hey, you gotta compare your game to all these other games. And if you're in the space of well-regarded good games, then yeah, it is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for people to consider your game versus that other one, especially if it's been reprinted recently and is available. And if you have a bad early, launch of the game, with errata problems, then it is an uphill battle. And I think for me, I'm well positioned, at least for Korea Fire and Ice, to really give it its opportunity to shine, or shine a spotlight on its failings. And what's funny is, if you go look at the user ratings on Board Game Geek of both of the Korean war games, their aggregate score and rating score are actually not that far from one another. So you have people already, before I started looking at either of these games, who said Korea Fire and Ice is great. You had people who thought it was utter crap, likely because of the initial rules issues when the game first came out. But then if you look at the Korean War, and if you look specifically at the original edition Board Game Geek page, you'd find that uh, there the ratings are not as extreme, but the average ends up coming out to be somewhere like in the sevens, and that's where Korea Fire and Ice ends up, somewhere in the sevens. Um, so for all the concern, if the games end up in the same space, I mean, aggregate other people's opinions all mushed together, it might be hard just to say, yeah, this game is definitely better. Go play this. Um, I definitely think there's some opportunities for Korea Fire and Ice to be valuable to somebody, and when I eventually get to the point of being able to review it, I think I'll be able to articulate what all of those things are. I could do so now, but I don't want to do it until I've gotten through the second playthrough and done all that stuff. So I don't know. John, if you're watching this video, I appreciated the comment. It just made me think so much that I wanted to record a little bit of a chat on it, just because I think it's important to point out. Because I know folks want me to finish Korea Fire and Ice. They are interested in seeing me play other stuff, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. Uh, so, me playing through this again delays me playing the next thing. But the next thing might not be the Korean War reprint. I don't know that I want to play two Korean War games back to back. That might be hard for fun for me to do, even if I want to compare the games at some point. I might need to play something else after this, like the Deadly Woods. I really want to play that. Then maybe I can switch back to the Korean War reprint, or play something else in between, and then get over to the Korean War reprint. It just is going to depend on what I'm feeling by the time we get to the end of it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I don't know. Hope this was a quick check-in video of enjoyment for you. I know had been absent creating videos for a few weeks. This couple of videos published, maybe we'll make up for it. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have some more videos again on Korea Fire and Ice, and then who knows what comes next, right? We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Keep gaming.